Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with news from New Japan Pro Wrestling. The company issued a statement today announcing the departures of both Tetsuya Naito and Bushi. A five-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Naito has been one of Japan's biggest stars over the last 15 years and has been working without a contract since January. In a press release issued, New Japan stated, quote, "Both parties have arrived at this decision after careful consideration and lengthy conversation. Naito's contract ends on the best possible terms with New Japan Pro Wrestling," end quote. In a separate statement, New Japan noted the departure of Bushi, who's been a member of the New Japan roster since 2012 after spending several years in All Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan announced that both men will continue to work for the company through its May 4th event in Fukuoka. Naito and Bushi's departures from New Japan come on the heels of Monday's announcement that Jeff Cobb, who had also been working without a contract since January, would also be leaving. Last night, NXT was presented on the CW from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. The show ended with a confrontation involving NXT champion Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. The three men brawled, with Evans getting the best of it to close the show.
Javon Evans this Saturday has got to be feeling like he's playing with house money. And that confidence can take him to the mountaintop. Case in point. Down goes Oba. Down goes Trick Williams, the young OG, the last man standing tonight.
Will this be the sight this Saturday? Will Javon Evans, will it be his time? You do not want to miss the biggest NXT event of the year. Evans has pushed his chips into the middle. Who will have luck on their side? Who hits the jackpot on WrestleMania Saturday? Who stands and delivers?
In the main event match, Thea Hale beat Carmen Petrovic via submission in a qualifying match for the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. In an earlier qualifying match, Lola Vice pinned Tatum Paxley. The show also included a parking lot brawl between Dark State and the D'Angelo family, with Tony D'Angelo chasing off the Dark State with a crowbar. In the opening match, Ethan Page won a fatal four-way against Eddie Thorpe, Wes Lee, and Lexis King to become the number one contender to the NXT North American title. Also on the show, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger won a gauntlet match to become the number one contenders to the NXT Tag Team title, going through the teams of Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights, and Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. In ratings news, Saturday night's edition of AEW Collision brought in a viewership of 455,000 at TNT, according to Russellnomics. That's significantly up from the previous week's audience of 335,000. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a .12, also up 50% from the previous week's demo rating of .08. Netflix has released a viewership for the April 7th edition of Monday Night Raw, which drew its second lowest viewership in the United States. Overall, the show drew 2.8 million views and 5.7 million viewed hours, for a drop of 3.4% from the previous week. Netflix listed the show as the 10th most watched English-language television show of the week. And in All Elite Wrestling news, the company has announced some international dates coming up this summer. AEW and New Japan's co-promoted Forbidden Door pay-per-view is set to take place on August 24th at the O2 Arena in London. In the week leading up to Forbidden Door, Dynamite and Collision are scheduled to be held on August 20th at OVO Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.